Hello and welcome to Working Dragon Mystic. I'm Drake. Hopefully you all are doing well this evening. Before we get started real fast, let me say we are having some storms. We have had several power outages throughout the day. So hopefully we can get through this without a power outage. But if it does clip out, I apologize ahead of time just so you all know. Also, a reminder that we do have the super chat thingy up and running. And if you any super chat of $5 or more automatically gets you entered in for some spell working for prosperity, well being, luck, and health. Okay, that can be a super chat with or without a question. Also, we do occasionally get busy in here, so if you got a question, instead of spamming, do consider using super chat. And as always, keep it safe for work for YouTube standards, of course. And we'd appreciate that. Okay. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Eden, good to see you. Arc Dragon, good to see you. Loveless, welcome back. Dina, good to see you. Mortal, welcome. Also, I actually dropped all the links, the link to the school, the link to our locals page, and the link to the workingdragonmystic.com website, which is kind of a one-stop shop for everything Working Dragon Mystic, at the very start of the live chat here. So if you have any questions about a link, it's there. You can also find them below the videos if anyone has any questions. Occasionally, if the admin can, they'll drop them during the chat also if it comes up and if it's relevant. Okay, so hopefully everyone is doing well. I know it's a little crazy out there for everyone these days. And today I was having an interesting conversation actually with some of the community. And one of the things we touched on was, the real world, the physical world. And the conversation got steered into a direction of, how oftentimes people actually try to avoid, escape, ignore the mundane world, and how that's actually truly that's a bad ideal as a magician. It really is. But that topic aside, we also got to talking about just how magical it can be. And I actually shared one of my memories with the individuals we were talking to, and I wanted to pose the question tonight. What is your most magical, mundane memory? Okay, not anything in ritual, not anything in spell casting. What is your most magical memory in the mundane real world? Okay, if you got it, throw it up in here in the chat. We would love to hear it. Yeah, so what you all got going on? Do we have any questions first off? Because tonight we're going to do kind of just a community live chat. We ain't done one in a while. We'll get back to some topics and more. Don't worry about that. But with the power blinking, I didn't prep a topic because didn't really know what was going to happen. Athena seen a ghost in the back of the car through the rear view mirror. Okay. That borders on the paranormal, but I still would count that technically because you just looked up in the mirror and saw that. I'd still count that one. That would be kind of cool. That would. I don't know if I've ever looked in the rearview mirror and saw a ghost. I've looked in the rearview mirror and saw my guardian dragon sticking his tongue out and making faces. As well as I've seen Odin do it too. So, but I don't recall any memory of a ghost doing it in the rearview. So, it was a trip. I bet it would be. I mean, I grew up on a lot of old legends and stuff about traveling. I mean, my dad was a trucker, so of course we heard about the black dog. Um, yeah, it's kind of creepy when how much that does happen on the roads. Um, and I don't remember if it was during a live stream here or if it was during a conversation elsewhere, but we were talking about how many ghosts are seen on the roads. I think it was a live stream. And the fact that roadways are, they're used for transportation, they're used for travel, they're used to get places. So it's actually very, very rational that to encounter spirits on a roadside, that would make actually a lot of sense there. And part of me is surprised we don't see more. But then again, maybe maybe it's a good thing we don't. One thing I have actually been considering doing, I don't know if I mentioned this on this channel, but I'm going to want to do it. Many of you know I grew up in my beloved Appalachian Mountains. I love the Appalachian Mountains. And one of the things, like, through my study of like paranormal investigation, cryptids, and all these things, and getting into magic and everything, I've never gone back to really look at the things that I grew up it's just you don't do or you do in the Appalachians to stay safe because there's stuff in the mountains. Like, you don't talk about it. We know it's there, and it's not normal. It's supposed to be paranormal and all that. I've never actually looked back at the Appalachian to figure out what would that thing be that they're talking about. What is this thing here? And I'm wanting to take a look at Appalachian ghost stories and cryptids here on the channel because I absolutely love them. I do. I absolutely love them. And it's going to be a nice little trip down memory lane because, like, my mama Maine taught me a lot about these things. And, there were so many things she was afraid of or superstitious about that I really kind of wrote off back then because I wasn't a believer. So I'm looking at doing that. Many of you enjoyed the kind of spooky roundtable we did. I don't know if we'll do it roundtable, we'll do it live, but yeah, we got some more coming. I'm definitely going to try and pull some from the Appalachia there. Aiden Bull, thank you very much for the super chat, mate. Thanks up to you. I just want to say thank you for the call out you gave me earlier and to your question actually earlier today when I remembered who I am was magically mundane. Earlier today when I remembered who I am was magically mundane. Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about now. Okay. I didn't mean to call you out. Okay, I do come off as an ass sometimes, so maybe it came off that way. But I am glad it helped either way. I am glad. So that is awesome to hear. And oh my God, they put a little celebration popper up there that celebrates the first super chat of the stream. Look at that. I haven't, either that's new or I just get rambling and never seen it before. I don't know which it is. Mathis. Hey, Mathis, good to see you. Don't feel bad, Mathis. It could be, who knows what's going on these days. Really, truly, who knows? Immortal, I love that idea. Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun. I really do. I'm really looking forward to it. And Immortal, if you want to jump in on when we discuss those as a roundtable, if you want to help me with that, I'd be happy to bug you with it. What does happen if you do? Yeah, some of those I'll have to get into. I won't get into them here. But yeah, believe me, I've seen reasons why the Appalachian people who grew up in Appalachia follow those rules. I have. It's kind of crazy. That's why I got a good many magical situations that have happened in those mountains. I think I might have mentioned one of those to you in private. I believe you have, Mathis. I believe you have. I'll be honest, when me and the wife retire, we're already looking at buying a piece of property out in the Appalachia. We really are starting to do some looking. Let's see. Call-outs aren't negative. That's good. That's a good attitude. That's a good attitude to take. Call-outs not being negative. No, I'm kind of in the same thing. It's like if this is happening and somebody's like, "Hey, do you realize you're doing this?" And no, I didn't realize that. Like it can be the dumbest little thing. Like you all know I love bushcraft camping. There have been so many times I've been out there with somebody and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing with that ridge line? Are you dumb? What do you mean?" And they show me, and it's like, "Well, have you tried this?" And then they'll show me a new knot or something. And it's like, I didn't try that. And to be honest with you, you learn something. Whether that particular technique is one you're going to continue using or not, you never know. I've been shown some techniques, love to learn the technique, actually apply them for something different than they taught me. But then there's others where it's like, yeah, I'm totally changing what I'm doing. So call outs are a chance to learn something, in my personal opinion. Let's see, Immortal. I'm going to be geeking out most of the video. That's fine. That's fine. Geeking out is fine. We don't mind that. For those who have been asking about the fake horses, is anybody interested in the fake horses? I don't know. Maybe you guys forgot about them. Maybe you don't care anymore. Anyways, for those interested in the fake horses, we are getting ready to start the Summer Fae course, because that course picks up at the winter solstice, and it's designed to be worked from the start of the summer court, which is actually on the winter solstice, to all the way through the summer court's time in your hemisphere. Now, this will be for the northern hemisphere, so I apologize if you're in the southern hemisphere. Now, I'm actually going to be trying something new with this, and actually we're going to kind of piggyback this over into the Norse work too. So I do have a volunteer to actually go through the path working. They're literally, you're going to be able to see me give you this information, give them that information. I'm going to be able to sit down, have a conversation, talk to them about their experiences and things like that as we present the information and roll out the videos to you all to go through this path working. Okay. This way, it gives kind of that live interaction of me working with a student. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, these will be rolled out to supporters over at Locals for free. So if you're a supporter at Locals, you will get all these videos. They're going to start popping up. We're also moving a few courses from the school. Dragon Magic 101 is actually going to be the test course. Get that over there into a supporter playlist so supporters can watch Dragon Magic 101. For being a supporter, you're going to have some access to that. But the Fae course is going to be rolled out so that you're actually going to see me working with the student. The student at hand is our very own Bernoldus. Everybody knows Bernoldus. He's going to be working through that and sharing his successes with us and what he's learned, the ups, the downs, all that wonderful stuff. That way, not only do you get me teaching the course in my perspective, but you can also see what it's like for someone who's never done it to work through a path working. I think that's something that's a little missing sometimes. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I know Bornoldus is, well, maybe excited might be the wrong word. I know he's looking forward to it. I don't know if he's excited. He's a little tense. But we're also going to be doing the same thing with the Norse course. And I'm hoping to get Immortal to help with that and do a similar thing. So keep your eyes peeled over there on Locals. Let's see. Mathis, that one, it was some years ago. It's been out at a campsite at night, meditating. During the meditation, I'd requested help from the forest spirits. I do remember you talking about that one. I do. And then, yeah, Bornoldus is going to help with the Summer Fae. I think he's going to learn a lot. I really do. I think it's going to do him well. I think he's going to enjoy it. He might be tense now, but I think he's going to enjoy it. Let's see, busy. My real world, I can see and am thankful. The Balak has helped clear out those who are not meant to assist me in my work environment and to help me be okay with that too. Hey, there you go. There you go. Mathis, next thing I knew, my girlfriend and I started screaming. She started smoking. Dark humanoid behind the car. Though she thought she'd seen a bear at first and how scared she was. Yeah, that can help. Let's see, Immortal. I've been waiting for the Norse course since I started Magic. This is going to be great. So we get the double example that you've been just biting at the bit for something like this, and you get to be my guinea pig. That should be fun. And I've done some work with the Norse, and I think you'll enjoy it, Eden. I really do. I think you're going to like it. I could be wrong. It's going to be a very, one of the things I love about Norse magic in general is the practicality. The Norse were very, very practically minded people in practically every aspect of their lives. That's one of the things I fell in love with about the system. But at the same time, even though it can be practical, there are some pretty okay, there are some really intense aspects to it. Um, that some of them are difficult to even manage to do. There are certain meditations that I mean, it's really hard to set aside enough time to do them. Luckily, they're not required just to practice, but we are going to be touching on as much of that stuff as we can. Um, I'm looking forward to it myself. But if you are interested, make sure you're signed up as a supporter over at Locals because that's where they're going to be rolled out. That's where you'll be able to see them. Okay. Um, so yeah, I do not know if or when those will go to the school. Okay. And real talk here, real talk with y'all. So you all know the analytics has been wonky lately. Now I told you before, I think it's just ad dollars and stuff are going because it's election season and it's a little cray cray, and that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. But it has been that point where this year we had to downsize the school. So some of you have noticed that, for example, though we've released more than 5 courses, there's currently only 5 courses on the school. That's because where we downsized, we can only have 5 live courses at any one time, right? So if you are interested in, say, the meditation course or something, we're going to be rolling those out or flipping them, transitioning them at different times. If there's one that you've been looking for and you're not seeing it, message me, let me know. I'll make sure it's in line so that you can get it. At the same time, we are looking at how we can potentially um, a secondary option, right? Because if we can't keep the lights on, I got to figure something out. I really do. I love doing what I'm doing, but if social media goes and just screws me over, you got to do what you got to do, right? Um, so I'm doing everything I can to tighten up the budget to keep the thing going to get through because I think or hope, maybe it's hope, maybe it is foolish hope, but I hope it's just that election season. We'll see everything spike back up nicely afterwards. Um, so yeah. Do, 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 do. But just wanted to let y'all know because I do know some of you were looking at the tarot course and other things. So right now we do have the Arcane Census course. I've had some people like, why is the Arcane Census course up there when that's a free one? I truly believe that course is important. I think it's a cornerstone, and it's one of those things like, yes, I may have to rotate it out to bring the tarot course on for a time, but like if I think of baseline course, obviously any of the Dragon Magic courses should be my baseline. That's my primary, right? The meditation course is obviously a good one, as well as the evocation course, which leaves me one rotator. What are you going to do? So we're doing the best we can. Thank you for your understanding. Okay, let's see. Gotcha. So, my favorite magical mundane memory, and this has nothing to do with paranormal, nothing to do with practicing magic, nothing to do with ritual. That's part of what we were talking about today. And I think I've shared it on this channel a time or two, but I was sitting on a beach with some friends, and I'm looking across the ocean. There's a storm coming in. They've technically already closed the beaches. Everybody's supposed to be going home. We're being stubborn. We've been warned. They're not going to make us go, but we've been warned. Like, we get hurt, it's our own business. And I'm having a conversation with a friend of mine that I've mentioned on this channel a time or two more, Raven. And we're just looking out across, watching this sun go down. And the whole idea is, once the sun set, we'll head on in. And during the sunset, like the moon has already come out, so you got a full moon and the sunset coming, and it's one of those sunsets where it's just these beautiful, deep, almost violet colored reds going into purple in the sky. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And where the storm clouds are coming in, like they're not there yet. You can still see like the moon here and the stars. So we got a full moon, the sunset's coming down, and then you get two perfect streaks of purple lightning that just comes perfectly on either side of the moon, creating this little X. And that scene is forever burned into my brain. I absolutely loved it. It's absolutely freaking gorgeous. And that's one of the things that, if you don't get outside, you don't get into the world and experience the world, both the ups and the downs, we miss stuff like that. And I have a lot of memories like that because I do get out, I do go camping. But yeah, we were just talking about how magical the mundane world is and how so many occultists have gotten to the point where they snub and turn their nose up at the mundane world and call it boring. If you think the mundane world is boring, you're clearly missing the picture. But yeah. Hey, Bertie, glad you can make it. Any other questions? Nope. Okay. We're going to have to find something to ramble about then, aren't we? Here's an interesting question from the community. What is your favorite Norse deity? That whether you've worked with them or not, what is your favorite Norse deity? Answer me that question out of curiosity. Let's see. Immortal. Mine would be hearing my autistic, non-speaking son say "I love you" for the first time. Dude, that would be yeah. I'm with you on that one. Mm-hmm. That is freaking beautiful, Immortal. Hands down. Gotta get more beverage. All right. Yeah, that would. Yeah, I'd put that up there. That would be cool. I had a couple moments like that for sure in my life with my goddaughter, so I understand that. Odin for sure. It's actually nice to see Odin getting some love. Like there was a point in time, it wasn't long ago either, like in the 90s, Odin just got shit on. I'll be honest with you. Everybody's just bad mouthing him. Birdie, Hell's my favorite. She's lovely to work with. I absolutely adore Hell. I absolutely adore her. She is one of my favorites. One of the things that like I can't say it bothers me, but it does kind of irk me a little bit is like the modern concept that Hell must be half corpse, that she's half living, half skeleton. And if you ever read the Poetic Edda, it never states that. It never says that. It mentions a bluish hue to her skin. That's the close to corpse-like as we get in the Eddas. And the reason it bugs me, because personally, I don't really care how an entity presents to you. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me. But the reason it bothers me is it sets a, like, you've got so many people like, she has to appear this way, raw, that you have people who are genuinely trying to work with her and genuinely are getting contact. But since Hell doesn't choose to present as this half corpse thing, they think they screwed up. They think it's their fault. People, no. If you're working with Hell and she does not show up looking like a corpse and she shows up looking like a normal lady, go with it. I'll be honest. Rarely do I actually know too many people who's worked with her where she shows up as a corpse, unless they had a predefined image, in which case she's only matching their predefined image. So think on that. Don't go bashing someone and just throwing some stuff around just cause. That ain't nice. But I adore working with her. I really do. She is definitely one that we work with in this path working, and the stuff that she has in store is intense. It's intense. But let me be clear: what she's got in store, as intense as many of the rituals and lessons from her are, you also get to see a side of her which, I mean, it's clearly defined in the Edis as a caretaker, a protector, a watcher. But most people try to paint her as this dark, cold entity. So you do get to see that softer, caring side in the pathworking too, which is something really cool. Uh, So yeah, I agree. Hell is a lovely one to work with. Let's see, eating that hit me immortal. That would be amazing. He's great. I enjoy my time with Odin. I really do. Odin and me, like, we had a slow start, but now once you get to start talking, like, we're Odin's like a best friend at this point. I'm not gonna lie, even almost like a grandfather figure. Um, and at the same time, once you get us talking, you can't shut us up. You could imagine. Anyone who's worked with Odin, you can imagine somebody that rambles and bounces around from topic to topic. Sitting down chatting with him, yeah. Um, Hard to say. I don't really play favorites. I've gotten that far in. I haven't got that far in Evocation, but I'd say maybe tie between Odin and Thor. That's a fair statement. That's a fair statement. Like when someone asks me my favorite, I don't know which one to pick. I really don't. My favorites are actually probably Thor, Odin, Hel, and Freya. Um, and in truth, the one I probably spend the most time working with is Freya, um, followed by Odin. So, like, Freya and Odin for me are almost like a 50-50 split. And depending on the time of year or what's going on, one definitely takes over, the one I'm talking to the most. So believe me, I get it when it's hard to pick or play favorites. I get that. I really do. Yours would have to be Loki. He's funny and charming, but he also encourages you to look inside yourself and heal. Yeah. See, yeah, that is true. Yeah. A lot of people want to view Loki as this like destructive, chaotic force and just this like little mischief maker. That's if you get into the Edis, you quickly learn that's not necessarily the truth. He's more of a entity of change and just change, constantly changing. And he does try to change things for the better. And you're right, he is very charming too, which is also in the Edis. And that self healing, that working with self and creating that change, he's fantastic at that. He really is. And you are right. He likes to have fun. He likes to make things fun. He likes to try and cheer you up, which is a nice quality to have in a bloke, if you want my opinion. So yeah, I I, I gotta admit I enjoy working with Loki. I don't work with him. He's not one of the primaries I work with, though at the same time, like he's practically in my life every day. My wife works with him quite a bit, so a day really doesn't go by where Loki's not around somewhere. And then you got that whole Loki Odin connection thing, so technically there's that too. Um, see, Birdie, she's always giving me the vibe of Morticia Adams when I've seen her. I was already irritated doing research and finding tons about her being this bitter Undertaker zombie type entity. And and I don't even know where that comes from. Like if you read the Edis, it's not in there. I've never found this bitter Undertaker Edis thing. The closest we get in the Edis, the closest we get is her job as the ruler of the underworld, right? That's her job. But she's never this bitter person in that. The closest you get is Balder dies. They go, hey, could you like make an exception and not have him be dead? So they want her to break the rules of life and death for this guy. That's it. Just this guy. That peripheral treatment. And she doesn't just give him peripheral treatment, but she does cut them a deal. Unfortunately, they failed to meet their end of the criteria to which he stays. But that to me is not a bitter individual. That is somebody who they listened to the plea, they understood the plea, and they just weren't able to make it happen. In fact, when you read that particular story, Balder is being treated like an honored guest. I mean, top notch food, like, and coming from a Southern culture, like honored guests, like you get the full spread. You're going to get the best room, the best pillows, the best food, the best booze, whatever it is we're doing, you're going to get the best. So yeah, I never even got that out of the Edis. So I've heard a lot of opinions on where or why this visual of her and this personality of her came around. But we're seeing the same thing with Loki too. Loki's been very, very demonized and created into like the Norse devil that he's not. And a lot of people do point to like Snorri Sturluson's writings because they say he highly Christianized the works. I don't think he purposely Christianized it, because when you actually read his works, he tried to stay very, very true to the works as he understood them. Unfortunately, there is that lost in translation or lost in culture kind of concept that can happen. So he did the best he could. I don't think it was a deliberate thing, but take that for what it's worth. So yeah, I think Loki's a fun one myself. And of course, hell. And I like the Morticia Adams. Like I always loved Morticia Adams growing up. Weirdly, I never got a Morticia. Like when I think of hell, I didn't put those two in the category together. But the vibe fits. The vibe fits. It really does. It fits because you got that very, very caring mother figure there. It fits. Let's see. So your top ones are basically my top ones, man. That's pretty funny. Let's see. Hell, I've had more interactions than workings with. She's fun. She's fascinating with my makeup. Here's a thing, Loveless. What's the difference between an interaction and a working? See, that's kind of like this is one of the points I want to get when we're working with entities, right? I would say that those interactions are more valuable than the workings. And I have a reason for that. So if we're just treating entities like a working, like, oh, I got a problem. Hey, Odin, dude, I got a problem. Fix it for me. Freya, I fucked up. What do I do? You're constantly going to them with the problems. Has anyone ever had a friend that you can't get them on the phone for a cup of coffee or a chit chat or to hang out or play a video game? But when they got a problem, they're always calling you. Like the only thing you are in their life is their problem solver. Anybody got that friend? No one likes that friend, do we? They're annoying as shit. They really are. And we dread that phone call, don't we? I do not want to treat entities that way. I don't want to just contact them when I got a problem, right? And in truth, over the years I have found the wisdoms and the lessons I've learned by just spending time with these entities and talking about random stuff with Odin or Freya or Hell has been more powerful and more shaping in my path than any working I've done with them. It's kind of like the teach a man to fish or give a man a fish. Like a working is giving you a fish. It's like, here's a fish, your problem's fixed, go away. Where the other, building that relationship, you're learning to fish, you're learning to do for yourself, you're learning to empower yourself. And because of that, I would say that those interactions are more valuable in truth. So you may be learning makeup, you may be talking about hair, you may be talking about cooking recipes, but a genuine relationship with a person is more valuable than the person calling to fix your problems. And in fact, that person that you have a genuine relationship that pops up, when you have that real problem, oh, they're all that more ready to help you. So yeah, Good distinction. Good distinction. And yeah, I don't. That's why I didn't say particularly workings, or because I just asked what their favorite was. But that is a distinction that I think is an important one, because far too many people these days they come to Magic for the genie's lamp. They just want to rub the lamp and fix my problem. Magic don't work that way, and entities. Well, I'll be honest. If we treat entities that way, you're going to see a sharp decline in results if you ever get a result. But yeah. Just Jim, good to see you, mate. Mugs up. Glad you can make it. Let's see. Bruce, do you think the sun is causing the power outage lately? Here? No, I don't. I really don't. Here it's high wind. And let's just say we got environmental minded people around here that don't know how to build for the environment they live in. So they built things that are not designed for high winds in an area that is known for high winds, and well, that's just stupidity, really. Uh, so at least here now, I have heard some people talk about power outages and stuff possibly caused by solar flares or something like that. I'll be honest with you. Every person I've seen talk about it, they usually post some kind of a TikTok or a YouTube short or a video of some kind, or they'll post like, "Go here, here's the proof," And everyone that I've followed and I've looked at doesn't show anything. I'm sorry, it doesn't. And one person was showing like the extreme spike in power outages, right? And it's usually really hard to find, exact power outage ratios, whatnot, but you can do it. You can do it. And then there was an individual specifically blaming the sun in the areas of Eastern Kentucky and Eastern Tennessee. Now I had something here. I had something because I grew up in this area. Those are my mountains. I walked all over those places. And I've said on this channel, I grew up with power outages, right? And actually, the power outages in those areas is down, not up. They're down over anything historical. So that kind of busted his little bubble because he was only measuring it for his age, not the larger picture. And unfortunately, he's younger than me. So I got a few more years on him. And when you go back and do the whole, so I don't know one way or the other, particularly is the sun causing extra power outages on the Earth. I've not seen evidence of it. Do I think solar flares could potentially do it? Yeah, I mean that's the sun's a really big freaking ball of plasma. There's potential. At this point in time, I'm in the I don't know category. I don't jump into a pool one way or the other without evidence on it. At this point in time, I've not been able to find anything solid enough for me to say yes. Does that make sense? At the same time, for those who say yes, I actually understand why you say yes. It's just, you ask me personally. So, you know what I mean? Let's see what we got here. Let's see. That's how I feel. That's one thing I love about my community. You all, well, that's probably why you found this channel and stick around, is because you all tend to have a similar thought process there. So, yep, most of the entities I interact with, I would describe as friends and coworkers, and much of the time refer to beings I work with. It's because there are things they have asked of me. Yep, I could get that. I get that. I absolutely get that. Oh, let's see. Any entity I'm going to work with, I try to, unless it's just for a client, I do my best to try and build a working relationship with, and actually one where I can actually sit down and just have a chat with them. Downside is, doing YouTube takes so much time. It actually takes away from being able to do more rituals, because keeping up with people takes time. At the same time, as a wizard, I've always got a social life. So that's kind of a cool thing too. But then at the same time, like even right now, freaking guardian dragons over here making faces at me. So, that's one of those things where in some cases they just pop in and say hi too, which is nice. Um, let's see. Mathis is talking about internet connection been slightly problematic, but I can't say it's definitely due to solar activity. You're right. I don't know if that would be solar activity. I've heard a lot of things with internet connectivity. I've heard a lot of rumors and conspiracies, and ultimately, I try to stay positive because it's too easy to get lost in the drama spiral down the sewer. You know what I mean? Try to think positive. If you think there's a problem, maybe plan for it, but try to stay positive. Let's see. Odin is a comical deity, as are most Mercurian gods. Oh, Odin has a wonderful sense of humor. He really does. I have to agree with that. I love hanging out with Odin. Like I know a lot of people refer to Odin as the god of depression, and when you look at him, you understand he carries a weight on his shoulders. You understand he carries the weight of knowledge. Even in the Havamal, he warns about too much wisdom, too much knowledge. Um, but at the same time, he also, like, if you get to know him, he shows you how to shoulder it. He shows you how to look at the world. He shows you how to look at that darkness, how to laugh, how to enjoy the journey. And Odin's always wondering. I mean, that's one of his titles is the Wanderer. Um, and understanding and enjoying the journey of life, the ups and the downs. Odin's amazing about it, and I love getting a chance to sit down and cut up with him. I actually once considered trying to write down some of his jokes. I just don't know if they translate as well, not coming from me as him, because he has a very good delivery. I don't know that my delivery would be as good. I may have to try that someday. Let's see. I suggest, yeah, my plant had a power outage at 4:30 this morning before I left. It was pitch dark when everyone showed up. I've had those work days where you show up and the power's out. I have. I'll be honest. I'm one of those people. Pitch darks never bothered me. I am. I'm that person. I've got pretty good night vision. Sometimes it annoys my wife, but at the same time, I spend a lot of time in the woods. Um, I've been in some really blacker than black kind of weather or places, so it's dark's never bothered me. I know it bothers some people. I'm just not one of them. So I don't know. I don't know if I have a fair opinion on it because everybody's like when people panic about a blackout or something, it's just I don't have the same panic. I don't have the same reaction. I don't have the same worry about the darkness, if that makes sense. Um, I struggle with keeping up with people. Keeping up with people can be hard. It can. One of the things I've told a few people in my life is if evaluate the individual and the friendship and find out what is needed. Like, is it this somebody that you need to stay in contact with? Like, there are friends that I have that I would view them as trusted, but me and them may not talk for 2, 3 years, and then suddenly, hey, how you doing? And we catch up. Um, but at the same time, when I do hear from them, they're not just contacting me because they got a problem. Um, Point blank. Like if the only reason you contact me is if you got a problem, you're going to quickly find I don't pick up the phone. Um, but then there are friends that and acquaintances that I do feel are important to keep touch with. Make sure I'm reaching out to them if they're not reaching out to me. Though I would say it needs to go two ways. There are plenty of people in my life, and I think the world of them. But there was a point where it got to where it was feeling like it was a one-sided only attempting to stay in contact. And I stopped being the one to do it. So it's a tricky one. Most of my friends that I stay in contact with right now, it's a two-way street. Um, they are likely to contact me as I am to contact them. And it does take work. It does. Let's see, Bertie, I'm not sure if this was answered last MCH, but I had a question regarding residual energy or events as seen investigators claim it can manifest like a spirit would or would pull places. Thoughts? Um, so yeah, when you think like the residual ether of emotions or something like that can definitely leave a mark on a place. It really can. Even in the short term, think of like a bad argument that you weren't there, you didn't experience the argument. But when you walk into the room, you like it's like, whoa, what happened here? Or a party where something's off. You walk in, whoa. And the exact same is true for positive emotions. Like you could be having a bad day and go into a really great party, and your mood shifts real fast, just because of the etheric energy in the room. Because of that, um, locations and buildings do pick up a kind of a feeling about them. They do have an effect on us. Um, you walk into a church, there's something about that church. You walk into um, like a Mason's Hall, there's an energy about that Mason's Hall. Um, whether you believe it's divine or not, that sensation is there at the end of the day. These are, they're there. And that can happen with time anywhere. I mean, we talked a little bit about construction sites. So that is a residual etherical imprint on that location. Okay. Now, can that residual manifest as a spirit? It can usually manifest as when they talk about a residual haunting, for example. It's usually it's more like a videotape it's not intelligent. It's just going through the motions that it went through in life, and it's just repeating the same thing over and over. It's just a videotape on repeat. It's not intelligent, um, and that's because it's just that residual imprint, right? Have I ever seen a residual situation where it showed intelligence? Um, sort of would be the answer to that. Technically, no. Technically, knows the answer. And the reason knows the answer is the residual ether or imprint is going to do what that does. Okay. However, since that ether is there, if something happens to shape it into a thought form, even though it's still technically not an intelligent haunting, the thought form is acting outside just the looped videotape and would present that way. But again, something else happened to trigger the thought form, whether it be a kid talking to an imaginary friend and that latched onto it and solidified. And oh, look, now you got an imaginary friend thought form, or whether it's the fear that the house might be haunted creates it, or your fear of the residual haunting actually ends up taking and creating the thought form. Those things can happen. And in those cases, you do technically have a residual etheric imprint that is taking the shape. They're a bit niche, but I've seen it happen. A little bit more niche, but I've seen it happen. Um, for what that's worth, there. Hope that helps a little, birdie. Good question, though. Tricky question. Hope I answered it well, but I like the question. Let's see. See, same here. I've been in some pretty dark places. Also, let's see. See, Eden, I use sound to supplement special awareness in the dark. I also have good night vision. It helps. Um, I'm quite glad how well I operate in the dark. Mm. It bugs my wife because seriously, I can just pop up and look around the room. I don't need to turn on a light. Let's see. Bruce, have you ever done? No, I have not ever done those. I haven't never had any desire to. I know several magicians who have, and have had bad experiences. I've had several magicians have good experiences. My overall overlook for anything in life is I don't use anything that I view as a crutch. If I can't do it myself, then I'm not doing it. And if, magically speaking, I don't use alcohol or anything to supplement my abilities. I want to train my abilities so that I am in control of my abilities fully and functionally without any outside substances. That's just the road I take. I don't drink to get a buzz. I don't like, I have had contact buzzes from highs due to work situations where I couldn't help it but get being a smoke cloud of a contact high. I didn't like the feeling of it. I did not like it. And I've never had the desire to do it. So that's just me. At the same time, uh, I got plenty of friends who smoke weed and use such things, but I personally do not. And actually, from a teaching perspective of magic, I really don't recommend it to the point of like, if I have a one on one student, as long as I'm teaching them, I don't let them use it unless it's for medical use. Because if I'm teaching you magic one on one, we're not using crutches. We are teaching you so that you can do it. And no matter what, somebody can't take your power away because you don't need the tools. You don't need the crutches. And that's the way I teach. That's just the way I handle it. Am I the right teacher for everybody? No. But that's how I teach. And I've had many students complain, but they once they got through there and came out on the other end, they were grateful I took the path I took. And a lot of people think that's crazy because both psychedelics and marijuana, they're like, dude, you're epileptic. Those could probably absolutely help you. They probably might be able to potentially. At this point in time, my epilepsy is under control and I still don't want to be high. I don't. I like to be in control and aware of my facilities fully. And that includes that's why really I rarely drink alcohol. And when I do, I don't do it for a buzz ever. That's just so yeah. Um, so sorry, I'm not the magician to prop up those industries. Let's see. From Far Rockaway, poltergeists have manifested from fear. Actually, yeah, I've seen poltergeist activity manifest from fear, but poltergeist activity also is something that is more. Um, it's not just residual energy. Okay, some of your strongest poltergeist activity usually, not always, but usually appears in a house that has a lot of residual energy, and then it has a living connection. Usually, an individual, male or female, in adolescence, because puberty is sending them into an emotional spiral of what the hell's going on with my life, and that heightened emotion and everything can truly cause some issues, and you do see that. That's why a lot of people view poltergeist activity as a more telekinetic phenomenon than a spirit phenomenon. Um, but yeah, you are correct. Fear is a really good fuel for that. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, when we're talking about alcohol and spirits, we're not talking about the spirit beverage. We're talking about spirits as in entities. So, yeah. Let's see. Let's see, Birdie. I have night blindness. Feel more cozy in the dark than I should. It's calm, and there's a lot of people that are genuinely calm in absolute blackness. They really are. I mean, think of a sleep mask. There's an entire market for sleep masks, and the entire concept is basically whoop, pitch black. So I mean, it makes sense. I wouldn't say you're more comfortable than you should be. What's the should be? Where's that line? Don't worry about that, Birdie, because people try to put these arbitrary pins in the board. And how comfortable should you be? If you're living your best life, you're not hurting no one, and it's working for you, you're right where you should be. That's what I say. Now, if something changes that barometer in some way, yeah, maybe do something to adjust. But till something adjusts that barometer, you do you, right? Uh, and yes, listen to Immortal. Please keep the adult topics out of the YouTube. Like I said at the start of this, let's keep it work and family friendly here. That would be appreciated very, very much. Immortal, if you can, send me later what you had to delete. I'm trying to keep a record of this stuff. Oh, thank you for no problem, Bertie. Always happy to. Well, when I see them, I'm happy to try and answer them. You guys have stopped me a few times. You really have. I was like, I don't know. But those are always the fun ones too, because usually I end up wandering off here and diving down a research hole. Let's see. Let's see. Birdie, I shower in the dark, and script thinks I'm wild for that. I actually enjoy showers in the dark. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I found this out during a power outage. Like, whether it be in pitch black where I'm just having to shower and then get out of there, whatever, or if I have just like a little tiny tea light or something to light up the bathroom while I'm showering, I actually enjoy them. I've also found them really great for meditation. Like if I have time to take a long hot shower, or even in some cases, I've taken long cold showers. I've squeezed in a bit of um, grounding and shielding and meditation. Um, Longer meditation than this normal grounding, cleansing, shielding, but I really enjoyed them. I don't know. I've never thought about it like as why do I enjoy showering in the dark? Like I've never actually stopped to think about it. So I really don't know, but I'm with you on there, Bertie. I enjoy it. I do. Oh, we used to have like this really big bathtub. Like my whole like relaxing stick was to get a couple candles and like run hot water in that and just. I used to love that. I miss that tub. That's a retirement goal. Get me another one of those because us 6'2" guys, there's not really a bathtub that fits us. We're just kind of. Um. All right. See, Eden, the majority of my showers are spent with my eyes closed. Actually, that could actually be an interesting reason as to why. Because, like, I think about it, like, I remember getting my eyes burnt really, really bad when I was little by some soap. And most of the time, because of that, like, I don't like things touching my eyes in general. I do not like things near my eyes. Um, that's why, like, I can't wear contacts. When I had glasses, I couldn't wear contacts because I couldn't even put them in myself. That I'm so, and they even tried. They couldn't beat my eyes. Kind of funny. No, that would also be for the locals area. Check over at one of the locals labs for that kind of stuff. We've tried that before, and people got off the rails real fast. And last thing, like, we don't need YouTube giving YouTube reasons to ban me. There's already people who think they're shadow banning me. So I don't want to give reasons to be shadow banned or reasons to literally be banned. But yeah, like, when you think about it, you get in the shower, and at least for me, like that, I keep my eyes closed a lot when showering because of that, especially when working on the face, the beard, and the dome. Like, you still got to wash your head when you got to, people don't think about it, but you still wash your head when you got the dome. And I would even say it's a little worse because there's no hair to hold the soap up there. So I mean, that could be one of the reasons where I started, and when your eyes are closed, it's dark. So, there's not really a differential there, weirdly enough. That could be potentially part of it. Weird things in life that we don't think about most of the time. Let's see. See, Mathis, I've had good results meditating with baths in the dark. Plus, it's super relaxing. Indeedy do. Like, actually, like, my magical practice hadn't started when we had that large tub. Not going to lie. If I get me another large tub, I will be making ritual use of it. I really will. So yeah, and I do, like, even in the tiniest normal bathtubs we usually end up with in military housing, I still use them for meditation quite often. Especially like if I feel like a cold coming on or anything. I absolutely love to get me some candles, go into a dark bathroom, run a blistering lobster red bath, throw in some camphor maybe, or just, even if I don't have the camphor, just put a little vapor up right here. Get me a good washcloth, wet it with the hot water, throw that over my eyes and nasal passage here, or even just over my full face, and just meditate and do some Golder of Onzus or Urus, and just chill out for about 30 minutes until the water starts to cool down, and then pop back out. Feels freaking amazing. It really does. Luckily, I don't get sick that often, so I don't do it that often anymore. But hey, you do the best you can do with what you got. That, honestly, it is kind of a pain in the ass to get down and out of that tub because it's so freaking little. I swear, every time they give us a different military housing, the tub gets smaller. By the time she retires, I'm going to be standing in a bucket. If I'm right, they keep getting smaller. By the time she retires, I'm going to be standing in a bucket. What are you going to do? Okay. See, I like listening to the echoes and feeling the difference. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. See, Birdie, some people use sensory deprivation tanks. I got a bathroom without a window and light switch. Yeah, I mean, sensory deprivation is something that has been used in a lot of different ways for a lot of different things. And I've utilized it in a few practices, and some shamanic work, even some Norse work. So it's actually something we probably will end up. No, I am not manifesting a bucket tub. No, I'm manifesting a big, 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 big tub. But yeah, you can get some pretty cool results with it. You really can. Some people question it. There's different research on different ways. I've had pretty good results with it, personally speaking. Let's see. 2 taps of clocks. Yeah, Immortal's getting fancy up in here. Look at him. Oh, I would love to have an outdoor hot tub. I really would. Like, seriously. We're looking at property. I want a actual yard, and if I can, I am going to have an outdoor like hot tub thing happening. I will. I'll do it. I love those things, but I'm also wanting to have like an outdoor ritual area and a place where I can reliably test camping gear. Because instead of having like right now, anytime I get something, I have to wait until I can go camping. Um, Many of you know I just made that bedroll, and I've been waiting for the weather to get right, and I'm essentially going to have to test it on the back porch here, which is going to suck. And as far as its full waterproofness, I'm essentially just going to have to crawl in it and let my wife hit me with a water hose and see if it works. Um, but I am hoping to be going over this bedroll that I made, which, by the way, for those who are wondering what the hell that has to do with metaphysical practices, getting out and connecting with nature, for one, that's the easy answer. But also, I do actually prefer having a bedroll like this because of my outdoor meditation practices. So this actually serves an actual function when I go camping. That's the reason I wanted another one of these, and we're going to discuss that when I actually go over and go over it with you all. Um, so yeah, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Worst case scenario, it might need a little extra waterproofing, I think. But if I check the weather right, then I think it's tomorrow or the next day we're supposed to be below 40, and that will give me a good time to test and see if it's that nice warm area. Because I want it to work at 40 to 30 degrees without any additional add-ons. That's what I want. So we'll see how it does. So either the next day or two, I'm sleeping on the back porch. Maybe they'll give me some wind and rain out there too. Really give it a good test. Uh, so you got to be big enough for the dragons. Oh dear God, I never thought of that. Oh, not that it has to be big enough for them to fit, but if I have a hot tub, they're going to be jumping through it too. Oh God. Okay, thanks for that. Now I'm going to have to worry about that. Let's see. Making a bug out bag soon. I've been feeling naked without one every time. Yeah. I keep a bag together. I keep one that I take in my car. I have a few things that I always keep in my car. I make sure the wife does too. Those kinds of things. I love it. I love being able to just not have to worry and be able to throw down a bed and relax in the woods. It's just nice. And for emergency situations, they come in handy too. It works for emergency. It's designed for emergencies. I just also use it for recreation because I love being outside. Um, oh, I love meditation in thunderstorms. I absolutely do. Can you control the weather? Yes. So there is indeed the ability to make some control and adjustments to the weather. However, you got to be careful. You got to be careful because anytime you make an adjustment to a natural rhythm, it's going to work like a rubber band. So if it's raining and you want it to stop raining, they're sitting there pulling that rubber band, right? And eventually that rubber band is going to snap. It's going to snap back. So the larger the change, the larger the snapback. And that's where a lot of people get in trouble and they can really screw up some weather patterns. And it can have some devastating effects. In fact, there's actually a Native American friend of mine who's been tracking some weather patterns as well as magicians or occultists that are on the younger end of things who are on TikTok or YouTube, and they're claiming to constantly be doing all this spell work about affecting the weather. And he's actually been able to get a correlation between the unusual and extreme weather patterns and where these individuals are supposedly located. So, as he puts it, TikTok can be screwing with our weather. Kind of sucks, but I mean, I guess it's possible. I don't know if I'd give him that much credit. I think he's giving them too much credit. But yes, any shift or change you make to weather, it's going to rebound and go the other direction at some point. So you got to be aware of that. I don't really try to tinker with it unless there is a genuine, solid, real need, because those weather patterns can get extreme. In fact, um, I've seen people try to get it to stop raining to the point where they accidentally trigger a several months drought that followed, or people who try to interfere with a natural yearly drought. Like, there are just places in the world where it droughts, right? It's just planned. Like, you go back 300 years, they tell you that's the dry season. And you've got witches and whatnot thinking they know what's better than Mother Nature, and they try to create rain, and then they end up with torrential flooding because it can't handle it. So you got to be really careful. You do. But it is doable, and I have done it. But anytime I do it, I always do it on small scale, because I don't want anyone to have to pay for the snapback. And you can't avoid the snapback. It's going to rebalance in some way or fashion. And yes, Immortal, you are correct. There is a dragon in Dragon Magic 102, in which weather magic is kind of their forte. They're really great at teaching you how to manage it, how to deal with it, how to understand that recalibration of it, because it has to recalibrate. If you throw it out of balance and throw it off calibration, it's going to recalibrate. So things like that. You are correct. That is in 102. It's one of the specialty dragons. Can't remember the name of the guy right now. Let's see, Birdie. See, all right, let's get ready to wrap up here, everybody. I'm going to get going. I'm going to go and probably make some tea or something and unwind for the evening. Power didn't go out. Woohoo! The wind is still howling. I think I just heard a trash can go by the house. But that's okay. Hopefully it'll keep this up, because I love the wind when I sleep. Unfortunately, it's been windy all day. So, but yeah, hopefully it'll keep it up so I get some good sleep too. All right, everybody, you have a fantastic evening. I will see you all Friday for the next Magical Coffee Hour. Those of you over at Locals, I'll be seeing you shortly too. We'll be doing a Locals Live this week. I also did upload for supporters only. There's a bit more of the Dragon Magic 101 course that was able to get uploaded today. I'm going to try and do another section of it tomorrow. Got a lot going on, and I do actually have to go see the doctor about my shoulder. So don't know what they're going to say there. Maybe they're going to say, hey, do this exercise and everything will be great. I'd rather them not do surgery. If they got to do surgery, they got to do surgery. So we'll see how that goes. All right. So it's going to be a fun week. All right, everybody, take care and good night.